The Trenton Golden Hawks have been announced as the hosts of the 2017 Dudley Hewitt Cup. Huge news for the team and the league, and we'll have more on that later on in the show. This is the OJ Today. Hey folks, I'm Alex Bastiavansky. On this week's show, Cobourg Cougars general manager Brent Thalia is going to join me to discuss his squad and some big things coming up for that organization. Also, I'll have a feature story on the Aurora Tigers, who are currently making a charge for first place in the North. But first, let's get to the Gong Show Gear game highlights. And there's no question that this year, the Hawks have been pure gold in Trenton, which is 2 losses in regulation time. They've been the undisputed power of the league this season. And last Friday, the stage was set for a massive tilt as they took on the North Division leading Markham Royals. Game highlights, of course, brought to you by Gong Show Gear. Gong Show Gear, lifestyle hockey apparel, official sponsor of the Ontario Junior Hockey League. The Hawks were coming off a rare loss in double OT against Wellington in their last game. They were hungry to get back on track. 7:05 in, they strike first. Kevin Lavoie just chucks it at the net. Liam Morgan tips it home, and it's a 1-zip. Trenton stayed that way into the second period. Hawks on the power play. Marcus Samayo makes a huge stop, but nobody clears out Danny Hanlon, who knocks it home, and they're up by a deuce, are Trenton. But then
Jono, slap shot,
and the Royals cut the lead in half, but then they get sloppy in their own end. Lucas Brown makes them pay. You can't do that against Trenton. 3-1 Hawks. 4 minutes later, follow the bouncing puck here as it takes a bounce over the net right to Curtis Harvey, who pokes it home. No style points, but the Hawks couldn't care less. It's 4-1. On to the third period we go. Markham gets one back on the power play. Brendan Valco, chilling at the side of the net, hammers it past Daniel Urbani to make it 4-2, but that's as close as they would get. 4-2 is your final. Balanced scoring by the Hawks with Morgan, Hanlon, Brown, and Harvey notching singles. Trenton now has a 10-point bulge over second place Kingston in the East. Burlington was surging. They'd won 7 straight heading into this matchup with the Patriots, and they hit the score sheet first. David Thompson's initial shot is stopped, but Kevin DeMagno, Johnny on the spot to clean up the garbage. 1-zip Cougars. And it's James McLaughlin with the sweet feed to Anthony Baxter. 2-zip Burlington. Just 2:45 in. But Mario Ferraro bides his time and slides it across for Jeremy Pilara for the shorthanded marker. Pat's got the lead to 2-1. Then it's Nicholas Ursitti to Luis DiMatteo, who goes top shelf, and they're all knotted up at 2 apiece. Just before the break, though, Thompson catches O'Reilly leaning the wrong way. 5 goals in the first period alone. Second frame was nearly as wild. Burlington notched 2 more to make it 5-2, but then cue the comeback. Pilara blasted home to make it 5-3. Then team captain Michael Sadal snaps it past Andrew Lee, 5-4. The Patriots complete the comeback in the third period, 2-on-1 here. Noah Robinson to Nick Stuckless, tie game, 5-5, and then with just a minute 19 left, DiMatteo fires it home from the point. What a comeback this was by the Patriots as they grabbed 2 essential points. They're currently outside a playoff spot, but they've still got a chance to catch St. Mike's for 8th in the Southwest, and that win definitely will help their cause. The Kingston Voyageurs are enjoying a heck of a season so far. Their 53 points currently put them 3rd overall in the OJHL. Problem is, they're stuck behind that powerful Trenton team in the East. Sunday, they were in Orangeville to take on a hungry Flyer squad. Orangeville had lost 5 of 6 heading into this one, and we're looking to get back on track, but it doesn't start off well for them. 2:06 in, Anthony Rinaldi roofs it past Nicholas Latinovich, and it's 1-zip V's. The Flyers get it back, though. 9:43, Mark James Ranson keeps his stick on the ice, tips it past David Richer, and it's a 1-1 hockey game. Orangeville owned the second frame. 3:47 in, James Ranson to Zach Vukosa. Beautiful play. 2-1 Flyers. And then Matthew Barnes lays the massive hit on Brandon Nadeau. And then the final insult, Smilski and Vukosa playing give and go. Smilski deposits the return feed. What a huge win this was for the Flyers. They needed a shot in the arm, and they definitely get it. That's a confidence booster as they take down one of the OJ's top teams. Kingston loses for just the second time in their last 8 games. Okay, OJ trivia. for this week. And your question is, who was the Gong Show Gear Northeast Player of the Month for December? The Gong Show Gear Northeast Player of the Month for December. And the first person with the correct answer to Isaac Westgate, that's iWestgate at the OJHL.ca, wins an OJ prize pack. And it was announced last week that Trenton will be the hosts of the 2017 Dudley Hewitt Cup. The tourney is set to run from May 2nd through the 6th next year. Huge news for the Golden Hawks. The top team in the OJ right now, Oakville and Trenton, both applied to host. Commissioner Marty Savoy thinks they were two of the best bids that he's ever seen.
Yeah, it was a really tight presentations between them and Oakville. And all my years of doing this, they're probably the two best bids that I have ever seen for an event, whether that's international, national, or a regional event, and it was very tight. But Trenton had that something a little extra, and we know that when they give them a World Junior A Challenge exhibition game and they sell it out in a couple days, and then they do a pink in the rink and they raise $15,000, and then they come in and they do a presentation to host the regional championships, and they have 1,000 signatures that want to buy tickets. So we think it's going to be a great event. We know that the town is going to really embrace it. We were down there for a press conference. They turned around in 2 days, and there was 60, 70 people there, season ticket holders looking for tickets already. So we know it's going to be a huge success.
Welcome back. Well, last week was probably one of the best of the season so far in terms of quality matchups. A lot of division leaders going head-to-head, a lot of first versus second battles as well. One such encounter was in the West with top dogs Buffalo traveling to Georgetown to take on the surging second-place Raiders. Georgetown had lost just twice in their last 10 heading into this one, and tensions were high right from the start. Kyle Allen lays out Mitchell Spring with one of the best hits of the year so far. Huge open ice hit. And then Allen has a hand in the Raiders' first goal. He's stopped by Tucker Wepner, but Jordan Crocker knocks home the rebound, and it's 1-0 Georgetown. Just a minute later, this is one Wepner would like to have back as Matt Cairn squeezes it past the Buffalo goaltender, and the Raiders go up by a deuce. Wepner redeems himself, though, in the second frame. Jack Jacome threads a pass to Andrew Court, but Judge Wepner, holding Court, slides across to make the big save. But then Brendan Jacome uses Jordan Crocker as a decoy and picks the corner on Wepner, and the Raiders are fully in control, up 3-0. Buffalo weren't about to fade away, though, without a fight. Tim Nixic lays out Zach Dybowski with a huge hit. Third period, the Raiders put this baby to bed, though. On the power play, Bailey Malella, uncovered out front, just bats it home, and it's 4-0 Georgetown. That's exactly how this one ends up. So the Raiders gain 2 points on the first place Sabres. However, Georgetown has 4 games in hand to make up the difference. It's going to be fascinating to watch these two teams down the stretch. Well, another first versus second divisional clash took place on Sunday with Markham hosting Aurora. Now, the Tigers had faded a bit, a 6-game losing streak being the main contributor, but they've bounced back in a big way recently, and it set the stage for an epic battle with the Royals. The Tigers spanked Lindsay 8-1 the night before, and were looking to keep the hot streak going. Just over 3 minutes in, newly acquired J.D. Falconer snaps it past Marcus Samayo, and the Cats go up 1-0. Just a minute 45 later, though, Markham's point shot is tipped home by Marco Azzano, who had a huge game for the Royals, and it's tied up at 1. 2 minutes later, it's Mr. Azzano again.
Didn't have his stick on the ice. Red shot, goal! Marco Azzano!
I think Joe's excited. No scoring in the second period. On to the third. Aurora owned it. First, it's Drake Board flying in. The Tigers' top scorer ties it at 2. And then it's Alex Fermenton with a masterful solo rush here. Eludes Brandon Washer and beats Samayo. 3-2 Tigers. And then nobody covers Nolan Dunn out front, and he punishes the Royals. 3 goals in a 1 minute span. The ice wasn't even dry yet, and it's 4-2 for the Tigers all of a sudden. Markham gets one back, though, with the net empty. Marco Azzano grabs his hat trick, Boyko makes the first save, but Azzano deposits the rebound to make it 4-3. Azzano now with 15 on the season. The teams would trade one more goal each, but the final was 5-4 Tigers. So Aurora grabs the massive points, and with that win, pulled it within 2 of Markham for first in the North. St. Mike's trying to hold off the Patriots for the final playoff spot in the Southwest. So this was a big game with big goals. 6:57 in. Cameron Searles picks the top corner on Jacob Standen for the picturesque Thalia one-zip buzzers. 17 seconds later, though, this one ain't pretty, but it got the job done. Follow the fluttering puck as it goes up, over, and in. Jacob McGrath still trying to find that puck. It's all knotted up at 1. Then it's the Pats on the PP. The puck pops to Luis Di Matteo, and they're up 2-1. St. Mike's with the man advantage 2 minutes later. Cameron Wright just takes his time, and boom, wrists it past Standen. Not sure he saw any of the puck on that one. 2-2. Back and forth we go. Even strength, McGrath makes the initial save here, but Eric Ermatia, Johnny on the spot, 5 goals in the first period alone. So the Pats led 3-2 heading into the second, but St. Mike's hits them hard. First, it's Wright with the cannonading shot, to quote the late, great Danny Gallivan. It's 3-3. And then Wright completes the hat trick at the 6:29 mark off the feed from Cameron Searles. 4-3 buzzers. And then Brad Koka shows off his moves as he cuts to the middle, beats Standen with the gorgeous shot. All kinds of goals in this one. 7-4 St. Mike's your final. Wright would add one more to make it 4 on the day for him, as the Buzzers put a bit of distance between themselves and the Pats for the 8th and final playoff spot. Okay, the Northeast Showcase is taking place this weekend. All games in Trenton at Duncan McDonald Memorial Gardens. Friday, Trenton and Aurora. Saturday, Markham, Pickering, Aurora, Lindsay, Whitby, Stouffville, Kingston and Cobourg, Newmarket, and Wellington. And then on Sunday, Lindsay and Markham, Stouffville, Kingston, Wellington, Whitby, Pickering and Newmarket, Cobourg, and Trenton. You can always head to ojhl.ca for the full schedule of games, of course. And OJ commitments to tell you about for this week. 3 good ones. Tyler Rollo of Oakville signs with Peterborough of the O. Rights were traded from Barry Colt, so that trade went down earlier this week. Josh Dickinson commits to Clarkson, and Daniel Urbani of Trenton commits to Canisius for the 2016-17 season. Okay, OJHL standings. Let's see how all the teams currently sit in the North. Yeah, Aurora, as mentioned, gaining ground on Markham, now just 2 points behind there. Trenton with a 10-point bulge over second place Kingston in the East Division with Wellington in third. As we look at the South Division, Oakville with a 5-point lead over the Junior Canadians, and they've got a 1-point lead over North York for third. And Buffalo leading Georgetown by 4 points, but the Raiders, of course, as mentioned, with 4 games in hand. And OJHL transactions to tell you about at the trade deadline. Some big ones. The Junior Canadians pick up Connor Beck, Michael Siddall, and Nicholas Ursity from the Toronto Patriots. The Cobourg Cougars got Zach Viminitz of Whitby and Justin Bennett from Pickering. And Chris Sekulek is picked up from the Panthers, going to North York. Welcome back to the OJ. Today I am now joined via Skype by the general manager of the Cobourg Cougars, Brent Tully. Brent, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure to be on. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, getting busy again after the holidays. Did you have a good holiday?
Had an excellent holiday. It was a nice break, great time away for staff and players alike, and ready to go here in this important second half.
Recharged and ready to go down the stretch, I guess, huh?
Absolutely.
It's been a real incredible season for the organization. We're going to get into just for the OJ part later, but you guys were instrumental in hosting, along with Whitby, the World Junior A Challenge back in December. What a success that was. Big crowds. What did it mean for the town of Cobourg and for the Cougars?
Well, it meant a lot in a lot of different avenues. It was, as you mentioned, a tremendous success. Exceeded expectations, actually, as far as attendance goes. Our smallest crowds for non-Canadian games, I think, were in around 1,100. So, it was remarkable attendance. The hockey didn't let us down. We expected it to be top-notch quality, and it certainly was right up until the gold medal game, where you couldn't have written a better script for a more exciting hockey game between Canada West and Russia, and of course Canada winning was icing on the cake. But from an economic impact, of course, it was very positive for the town of Cobourg and the county of Northumberland. And it was a great stage for us to be able to host such an event. We have the beautiful facility there, and we've talked for years of always wanting to host an event such as the World Junior A Challenge. And so it was a great. The amount of volunteers that we have in our town for our organization is absolutely incredible. And,
yeah. And it makes for a great lead up to the next big event coming up for you guys, which you've got in 2017, the National Junior A Championship, the Royal Bank Cup. So this was kind of, this in itself was a massive event, but it's also a great test run for the RBC for you guys.
Definitely, and no one let us down, and everybody was great, and it went off without a hitch. To see our rink at capacity is exciting, as you mentioned, as a prelude for the RBC Cup. We're obviously expecting great crowds for that, and our goal as an organization obviously be in that final game, and we're looking forward to that, building for that now, and I can't wait to get next season going.
Yeah, excellent. So let's look to this season right now and how you guys are doing in the OJ. You're fourth spot currently in the East, which is, just as we've mentioned numerous times before, an absolutely brutal division. Fourth spot in the East, but you're in a playoff position. How do you assess your team's performance so far this year?
Well, we've had a bit of a roller coaster year. I think, part of the design of our club this year was looking ahead to next year. So, we didn't want to obviously have a very old team. So we limited the amount of 20-year-olds that we had, trying to get a good crew to organically grow for that team next year. So, we want to develop as many kids in-house, if you will, to play on that team next year. We've got a really good group of kids that, it might be their first year in the league, whether they're 17, 18 or whatnot. But we're very encouraged by that and how some of those kids are growing. From a standings perspective, we're not where we always like to be. We're used to the past few years of being closer to the top of the conference. And as you mentioned, though, our division doesn't give
brutal.
you
any tough. Yeah.
For a few losses, and you have to continue to win to stay up there. So, been bitten by the injury bug, which you go through years where that's the case and a reality. But you hate to use that as an excuse, but you look at the glass half full in that perspective, and it's a great time for some of the younger kids to have on a bigger stage.
Yep.
More than expected, so it's great for their development.
One word that comes to mind when I look at your roster and your scoring leaders and stuff is balance. You guys have one guy within the top 50 of the OJ top scorers, that being Brennan Roy, but everyone is contributing on this team. Very, very balanced scoring, wouldn't you say?
Definitely, and that's pretty typical of our organization. Each and every year, we consider ourselves very much a blue-collar team. We like to do the scoring by committee. We've always had a mentality that a well-balanced club and a deep club, is important for long runs into a playoff season. So, we're maybe not scoring as often by committee as we'd like right now, but that being said, again, a lot of these kids are younger, and you look at historically kids in our league, like many other junior leagues, a year makes a huge difference, and you see a lot of kids make a huge jump. So we're looking forward to a bunch of our kids doing the same.
We got about a minute 45 left. So one thing I want to quickly bring up, one standout player who made the Team Canada East roster for the World Junior A Challenge, Sam Dunn. He's been an all-star for you guys in the blue line. Just talk about Sam and what he's brought to the team.
Sam has been tremendous. There's a prime example of a boy that came into our team last year as a 16-year-old, big body defenseman that skates very well.
Hits like a Mack truck too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And, he was a man at 16, and you quite often you get these kids that might be tall but they haven't filled out yet. And Sam has been a very mature kid from the get-go, and he made a huge leap this year. Obviously, like you said, playing for Team Canada East, being on the NHL draft list, bright future for him, and very exciting to see a boy come into us as a 16-year-old and develop the way that he is.
Brent, we're almost out of time, but one game I wanted to bring up that said a lot about your squad was back in November. You were in Georgetown. You were down 4-0 to the Raiders and came back and won that game 5-4. You don't often see that in sport, and that says a lot about the compete level of your team, doesn't it?
Well, absolutely, and that's all you can ask of the kids is, if you give your best effort every night, you never know what will happen. It becomes an issue when you do give up, and that becomes a habit. So that particular win, showed what we want in our team, and in particular our players as a group, and hopefully we're not behind that often like that, but it was a great game.
Yeah, anyway, you guys have been a lot of fun to watch this year. I will see you this weekend at the Northeast Showcase, which is going to be great. Thanks so much for joining us on the show. Welcome back. Well, what a crazy up and down year it's been for the Aurora Tigers. With an ownership and coaching change early on, the squad battled adversity, but they appear to be coming together at just the right time as they race down the stretch towards the postseason. Aurora, this week's team report brought to you by Muscle Milk. Muscle Milk, official sponsor of the OJHL. The Aurora Tigers certainly appeared to be the team to beat last season when the playoffs got underway. They had the best record in the OJHL and jumped out to a commanding 3-0 lead in the opening round series versus Kingston. Then the unthinkable happened. The Voyageurs reeled off 4 straight wins to complete an improbable comeback and stun the Tigers in 7 games.
It was horrible to deal with. It was tough seeing all the guys, and especially our goalie couldn't even play because he was sick. So it was the toughest thing I've ever been through with hockey, and trying to put it behind me and hopefully win this year. Yeah.
This year, the Tigers have licked their wounds and come out with fresh optimism, determined to put the horrors of last year behind them. The start to the season was rocky for a few reasons, but the squad has regrouped and are currently challenging Markham for first in the North Division.
We had a bit of a slow start, obviously with our we had an ownership change in the summer, coaching change earlier in the year, but I think we're finally starting to find our stride and gel together as a team. We're finally putting some key pieces in the puzzle, and I think it's going to help us in the long run. So,
a little bit of a turmoil at the start of the season with the coaching change and so forth, but I think that the kids have done a remarkable job of adjusting to both coaching styles, and I think we're on a little bit of a roll now. So I think overall we're extremely happy with where we are as a team and how the season's gone.
Thomas Milne is the new head coach who was brought in to lead the Tigers.
This game will be won in the trenches, which is at both blue lines, so there's no turnovers there. The neutral zone, you're going to have to clog. You're going to have to protect the middle.
He's hard, but he's fair. He's great. Like he wants the best out of all of us, and he's really helping me to become a better player and a stronger player and bring up my potential. But he's quite hard, but he's not irrational. He's completely fair about everything, and he just wants the best out of us.
The Tigers are getting significant contributions from all throughout their lineup. A surprising omission from Team Canada East at the recent World Junior A Challenge, forward Drake Board leads the team in scoring and has an NCAA commitment to Niagara College.
Yeah, Drake, he's an amazing player. His speed is out of this world. He can blow by any D in the league, and I'm sure he's going to excel next year when he plays Division I. He can put the puck in the net, and he's good in his D zone. He's been working on it, so he's been a real key piece to our puzzle, and hopefully he can keep putting the pucks in the net for us along the way.
Kyle Locke is an absolute force on the blue line. The former second-round OHL pick anchors the defense.
Kyle Locke, probably one of the most patient hockey players I've seen. Nothing seems to really faze him. Incredibly strong, incredibly good skater. Really, if he wants to be, he is the whole package.
Daniel Mantenuto wears the captain C for the Tigers this year, and along with assistant captain Liam Newman, has provided strong leadership.
Nimes brings a ton of energy. He's one of those kids that is just a hard worker. He's the heart and soul of the team. He seldom makes mistakes. He's very dedicated to the team game, and he's a very selfless player.
Danny Mantenuto is a great captain. He's a silent leader, but on the ice he just you can tell he's a leader by the way he plays. Every night he brings his all, and we always can count on him for those big plays and just to work hard in every battle. So, and that's why he's the captain.
Alex Fotinos has been a rock between the pipes, coming up with massive stops at crucial moments, and new additions have added to an already stacked roster.
We definitely have a lot of key pieces, and we got a couple pieces we just got added to us. Falconer from Victoria, I believe, in the BCHL, and we got Noah Delmas back from last year. Great additions. We got a couple of junior C cards. So.
Let's go have some fun and grab 2 points right now.
Despite last season's dreadful finish, Liam Newman feels this year's squad has the goods to make a significant push come playoff time.
I hope we can, first off, win our first playoff series. That's our big thing. We need to get that out of the way. And then hopefully just win series by series, game by game. We got to look at it. Even if there's teams that could look better than us on stats, I think we have the team that can go far, and hopefully we can get ourselves a buckle. And I've been close enough the past 2 years, and hopefully this year's the year.
And before we go, look at the top 5 plays from the OJ over the past week. Number 5, Orangeville's Matthew Barnes absolutely flattens Kingston's Brandon Nadeau. Number 4, Georgetown's Kyle Allen does likewise to Buffalo's Mitchell Spring. 2 beautiful open ice hits there. And number 3, back to the Flyers V's game, Zach Fucosa. That's the game winner off the sweet feed from James Ranson. And number 2, Alex Fermenton with the supreme solo effort against Markham, and he tucks it home past Marcus Samayo for the beauty goal and what turned out to be an epic game between those two rivals. Number 1, St. Mike's versus the Patriots. Brad Koka shows off the soft hands as he dances in and snaps it home. Just his 3rd of the season, but it's a doozy, and it's our OJ play of the week. And that is all the time we've got for this week. Just remember, though, you can head to the league website at ojhl.ca for all the up-to-date news, stats, and standings, on Twitter at OJHLofficial, and, of course, at facebook.com/OJHLofficial. Thanks for tuning in, folks. I will see you next week.